Guys, what is going on here with a UlforceVeedramon deck profile? I've been having a lot of fun with this deck for set 11, and I honestly wasn't a big believer in this deck. I thought it was just more support for a deck that still wasn't really going to be competitive whatsoever. But I actually do think it has some cool plays. My buddy Huang Zero was kind of the one who convinced me to give it a try, and some of the plays you can do are still pretty cool. So let's talk about the deck, and then I'll kind of get into some of the main combos and like how exactly you're supposed to play this deck. But guys, so pretty standard for the monster lineup. I'm just playing the VMons, the Searcher one from BT11, as well as the starter deck one that gets to warp into an Ulforce. And unlike Imperial or Armor Rush, this effect is actually pretty broken in this deck. Being able to just Digivolve into an Ulforce for 4 is really insane, especially with the new Ulforce, since it does actually have a when Digivolving effect, and we'll kind of get into why that's so good later. But this one's really good just because the Inherited is good, as well as the on play just helps with consistency, being to search any of your Veedramons, so any of the level 4, 5s, or 6s, as well as any blue tamer, which is not just limited to your arena here, it's any of your blue tamers, so that be it Davis or Kyo or anything like that. So that guy really good. Dracomon, just another Searcher. This one I think is a little bit less standard, but I actually do like this card a lot. Again, same thing, just searching any Drummon. So it's a really good play early game. Already talked about the Veedramon, why the Warp is so good, and then drawing cards is always nice. For level 4s, just playing 9, I don't, like, once you see 1, it's totally fine, and the ratios are a little bit different because of the fact that you can warp. A lot of times you don't actually need your level 4s and 5s, so I'm kind of just fine with just playing the 8 Veedramons, the 4 BT11 Veedramon, once per turn when you play Blue Tamer, draw a card. So something cool you can do is, like, if you've got that guy and V-Tamer tie, you can, like, basically just draw 2 for no cost. And then that's the same Inherited as the Vmon here. For the starter deck Veedramon, this effect, not being once per turn to return a level 3 Digimon to the hand, is really good. So sometimes when you get your full combo off, you can clear wide boards just because of the fact that Veedramon can bounce, and the Ulforce has a bounce effect as well. Of course, you need to have 8 or more cards in your hand, but there are plenty of cards that help you draw. Stuff like the Digi-Egg, which I actually don't think I put in here, so let me actually put Wanyamon in here. I've also seen people play the Demi-V that unsuspends plus 1,000. I think this one's pretty good. So honestly, for the egg lineup, I'd probably play something like this for Wanya and one Demi-Vmon. As much as I do think the Demi-V attack is inherited, you do have other ways to boost your DP through your tamers, stuff like the BT2 Rena and Promo Tie here. So I think the draw is really important. So yeah, so those are the champions. Loboan, of course, just for finishing games, I still think is good. For level 5s, I am just playing the Arrow Veedramon from the BT11 as well as the old BT2 one. I've also seen lists play the one that gives Sec Attack from starter deck. I believe it's down here, yeah. So the one that gives Sec Attack +1 if you have 8 or more cards in your hand. That one's definitely good as well. I honestly don't know which one you would rather have. I think I'd like to be on the safe side, so giving Jamming is really good, and then the one Digivolving effect is actually pretty sick, because you can just unsuspend any of your blue Digimon, including him or an Ulforce or whatever. And then this also lets you, like, trigger your Rena's effect sometimes, because if your Digimon with Veedramon becomes suspended, you can suspend this tamer to activate one of his Digivolving effects. So sometimes you can just trigger this effect again, like 2 times in a turn. So that's really cool. But this is your main one. So the main Arrow Veedramon you want to be playing is the one with the main effect once per turn. You can suspend this Digimon and then reveal top 3, add all blue tamers. You really need your blue tamers in your hand in this deck. It's very essential to the Ulforce combo. And then also just being able to add all of them is really nice, and you get to unload them from your hand with the UlforceVeedramon, so you don't have to worry about actually hard playing like 4 or 5 tamers from your hand. So those effects are really good, and then the when attacking, you can activate one of your Arena Shinomiya's on play effects. This effect is okay. This really only comes up, like, you basically use one of these 2 on plays. So on play to give one of your Digimon with Vmon or Veedramon and its name Blocker and Evade. But usually if you're playing this off of like an Ulforce, you already have Blocker and Evade anyways. And then I guess this is good to just get like another search in sometimes. But like if you're already attacking, like if you're already resolving Disinherited, you have an Ulforce. So, like, you probably don't need Arena that much. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this Inherited. I don't really think it's that good. If you guys know, like, a better interaction, let me know down in the comments. But this card's still really important for the Tamer search. And then the fact that it suspends itself is fine because you actually do unsuspend yourself with the UlforceVeedramon. So, I am playing 4 of the new one. Both of them are really good. I still think the old Ulforce is a better tool for, like, OTKing. So honestly, like if you want to build this as more of an OTK deck rather than like a mid-range or like a control deck with that can OTK, I'd probably just play for this guy. But the new one is good. It has 3 main effects, okay? So first of all, you may play 1 Blue Tamer from your hand without paying the memory cost. So you get to just play Blue Tamer, it gets his on play, really good stuff. And then the second and third effects basically play into the first effect. So when you play a Blue Tamer, you unsuspend this Digimon. So usually you'll Digivolve it, play a Blue Tamer, trigger the second effect, unsuspend this Digimon, and then trigger the third effect, which is once per turn when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, return one of your opponent's level 3 lower to the hand and increase the maximum level of this effect can choose by 1 for each of your Blue Tamers you have in play. So right off the bat, when you play something off it, you'll be able to bounce level 4. But if you've got 3 Blue Tamers in play, you can bounce to level 6, which is pretty sick. Just being able to bounce something for free, like, is always broken, right? Look at Melga. Like, that deck has been doing this for a couple formats now, and so bouncing stuff for free is already really good. And then the second effect, note, is not once per turn, so that kind of coincides with your main combo, being able to play Blue Tamers to unsuspend this Digimon not once per turn. It's kind of analogous to like the old Ulforce where the first effect is once per turn, where one of your Blue Tamers becomes suspended, you unsuspend this Digimon. So both of them kind of work in similar ways, although this one you have to play Blue Tamer to attack multiple times, and then this one you have to suspend a Blue Tamer to attack multiple times. Both of them come up. Like, yeah, you guys can let me know what you think is a little bit easier to get off. But this Ulforce is just really, really good in terms of value. It gives you a lot of value off of its effects. The old one's still really good, just being able to unsuspend it, gaining a memory, and just going for game off of multiple Tamers. Omnimon's still really good, just going for game is really insane. And then for Tamers option cards, nothing crazy to talk about, just a blue memory boost for consistency. I am playing 2 Hammer Spark just to extend your plays a little bit. Sometimes if you want to go into Ulforce without passing turns, you can do that. And then we got your Tamer lineup here. So I am playing 4 of the new Secret Rare Arena. This one has an on-play where you give one of your Veedramon's blocker and evade until the end of your opponent's next turn. That effect's pretty solid. It usually doesn't come up to, like, having a blocker is cool, so that's, like, the main thing is, you know, you're going to put up, like, a 12,000 blocker or something, but the main effects we want, that we care about are going to be the All-Turns effect, where one of your Digimon with the Veedramon in its name becomes suspended. You can suspend this Digimon, or, suspend this Tamer, and activate one of that Digimon's when Digivolving effects, okay? So that'll kind of come into our combo, but essentially the main thing you're supposed to do is, like, you evolve in Ulforce, play the new Rena, and then now that you played a Blue Tamer, you can unsuspend the Ulforce, and then you can you know, trigger that third effect to gain a memory, and then you can swing with the Ulforce, and then you get to trigger the second effect of the Rena to suspend the Tamer, to trigger the when Digivolving of the Ulforce to play another Tamer, and then if you play another Rena, you can just rinse and repeat. So there's really cool interactions that you can do with that. Another thing you could do is, like, with this Rena, just play multiple times to get a search. And then plus 1000 comes up. This one's better with the old Ulforce. I think both of them are, but this one you can also trigger off the old Ulforce. Like, even though that the BT2 Ulforce doesn't have a one Digivolving, you can, like, swing with this guy, suspend the Rena to trigger it, one of its one Digivolving, nothing happens, but then you just get the unsuspend from this Ulforce effect. And then old Rena is still really good for consistency. Davis I'm playing just as a memory setter and a searcher, but he's not really that good because you can't suspend him. But Kyo is also good because he's a memory setter. You get to draw a card if you, like, swing or something with an Ulforce or an UlforceVeedramon. And then you can also use this with the BT2 Ulforce to get an extra attack, so that's really cool. V-Tamer Tai I still think is really solid, just playing 2. It's a 2-cost Tamer. Just giving you a little bit of utility to either trigger, draw 1, or gain extra DP. So guys, that's going to be the list. I've also seen some lists playing the Leomon engine. That's another thing I did want to mention. I honestly haven't tested it out, so I can't really tell you guys, like, what ratios or anything you should play, but I have seen some lists playing Jerry as well as the EX2 Leomon here. Basically the idea is that the Ulforce here can play any blue tamer. So you, when Digivolve, play a Jerry, and then Jerry's on play, you get to play a Leomon for free. So you get to play this guy. So then you have a blocker during your opponent's turn. Since you got a Jerry in play, when you block, you get to draw a card. Gaining 2 memory, drawing a card is really, really good, being able to interrupt your opponent that way. And then if you got like blocker evade from the arena, you've got like another blocker on field. Guys, that's kind of something I wanted to mention. I think the Leomon engine is really good, but I'm just not sure how to incorporate it. I haven't tested it out, but you guys let me know if you think that's a little bit too spicy or not. But anyways, let's get into some of the combos. I've talked about them a little bit, but I kind of want to just show you guys a couple of the main things you can do with this deck. Okay, so the first thing I want to kind of show you guys is the main bread and butter Ulforce combo. So let's say for this example, you've got like an Ulforce or UlforceVeedramon stack. And what I can do is like maybe suspend this to reveal top 3. Like there's no hits there, but let's say maybe I've got some tamers in hand that I can do something with. So what I can do is I can Digivolve into the UlforceVeedramon for a cost of 4. Of course, draw my card off of that. And then I can trigger the when Digivolving to play a blue tamer from your hand without paying the memory cost. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Rena. And then because the Rena was played, I can trigger a bunch of effects going off at once. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger this effect to gain 1 memory, this effect to gain 1 memory, and then I can then trigger the Rena on play to give the Ulforce evade blocker. And then your turn, when you play blue tamer, unsuspend this Digimon. So I'll unsuspend it, and then that will trigger the 3rd effect of Ulforce as well as the 3rd effect of Rena when a blue tamer blue Digimon unsuspends, gain a memory. So I'll go to 2. So you can see off of that I've just gained like 3 memory back, which is pretty broken. And then because it unsuspended, I can return one of my opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon to the hand. And then because I've got 2 blue tamers in play, I could choose like a level 5 for this example. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce my opponent's Sukamon to the hand. And then what I can do is just go ahead and immediately attack. Maybe do something like draw off the Wanyamon here. And then I could trigger this effect to activate one of your arenas on play. So again, just give it block or evade, I suppose, or maybe I want to wait to do that for this one. So in that case, what I'm going to do is use the arenas effect. So when one of your Digimon with Veedramon becomes suspended, I can suspend this tamer, trigger when Digivolving. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger that when Digivolving to play another blue tamer. I'm going to go ahead and play the second Rena. That'll again trigger the on play, nothing really happens, and then it'll trigger this effect to unsuspend the Ulforce, and then trigger the 3rd effect to gain another memory. The attack goes through, hit a Chumon or something, and then of course the 3rd effect of Ulforce is once per turn. I kind of wish it wasn't, but that would be a little bit insane. But what I can do is just swing again, use the Rena's effect once again to trigger the when Digivolving, play let's say the 3rd Rena, unsuspend, and then get our top 3 search, maybe search the old Ulforce or something, and then go ahead and check the 2nd security, and then I can just keep doing this, swing, maybe trigger this, reveal top 3, and then check the last security. So just like that, got 3 attacks off in a row. The kind of problem with this combo is that it requires you to have multiple secret rare arenas to kind of utilize. If you don't have her, it's a little bit unfortunate, because basically in that case, all you can do is like, let's say the same scenario, I Digivolve for 4, and then I like play this Rena, I still unsuspend, I gain back the 2 memory, and then I get a search. But in that case, all I can do is just swing, tap this to give plus 1,000. I can't really unsuspend. So you really need this Rena to be able to do anything, which is why I still like this Ulforce to be able to attack multiple times regardless. The thing you can do is, let's say I've got like it's my opponent's turn and I've got blocker evade on the Ulforce here, and let's say my opponent goes ahead and swings at security. What I can do is I can go ahead and block with my Ulforce to redirect the attack, and then because the Rena's effect, 2nd effect, is all turns, let's say this Rena isn't suspended, I can then suspend this Rena to trigger the when Digivolving for the Ulforce, so playing a blue tamer during my opponent's turn. Again, there's not too many cool things you can do with this aside from just like playing another Rena. Maybe if I've got like this Veedramon, I can play this Rena to then give this Veedramon blocker evade, so I've got 2 blockers on field now, or in the process of this blocking. But the other cool thing you could do is, like I mentioned with the Leomon combo, is you could like play, like imagine this was a Jerry, you could play the Jerry effect, play the Leomon, and then you'd have another blocker here, and then if I was to block, like let's say my opponent, this one attacks, it dies, this one swings, I block with the Leomon, and then maybe if my Leomon dies, I can interrupt my opponent by gaining gaining 2 memory, drawing a couple cards. So that's another really cool interaction you can do if you are playing the Leomon version. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys was kind of the combo with the BT2 Ulforce. A lot of you older players will know how this card works, but maybe if you're new to the game, you've never seen this card around. Basically, the way this card works is, let's say again, I've got maybe 3 memory, and then I evolve into this guy, draw my card. The cool thing is that he is a 3 cost, so it's a little bit more efficient. What I can do is I can go ahead, swing security. Of course, maybe trigger this, draw 1, and then when one of my Digimon attacks, I can trigger this Rena to suspend the Rena, give it plus 1,000, and then since Blue Tamer was suspended, I can unsuspend this Digimon, and then that once per turn effect, I can then gain a memory back. It'll check security, and then I can go ahead and swing again. I could then use this effect to activate Arenas on play, maybe give it evade blocker. I might also gain another memory from this since it's unsuspended. And then I could then trigger the Secret Arenas effect to when one of my Digimon with Veedramon and its name becomes suspended, suspend this Tamer, trigger when Digivolving. Of course, there isn't anything to trigger, but I'm just going to do that to unsuspend it. Second attack will go through, and then maybe I can do that again to be able to go ahead, swing, third security check, and then use the V-Tamer tie because it is just a main effect. I can suspend this, maybe draw a card, and then because the Blue Tamer was suspended, unsuspend the Ulforce, and then swing. So again, it's a really cool offensive tool that doesn't necessarily just rely on this Rena. It's a little bit better because it can be utilized with the ult support as well. But anyways, guys, that's going to do for this video. Let me know down in the comment section below if you are a big Ulforce fan. I've loved the deck for a really long time, and I am glad that it's getting really cool support, and I'm looking forward to the list that people are going to make. Hopefully, we'll see it do well in an event soon. But anyways, guys, that's going to do for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.